Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the #1 place for all things beauty, hair, fashion, and the lifestyle. It's your girl, Lady M here, and in today's video, I'm giving you a bronzer roundup. I'm gonna be sharing my bronzer stash and making recommendations on how to find the perfect bronzer for the summer. It's about that time, y'all. It's all about bronzy, glowy skin for summer. So yes, I'm going to be sharing all of that with you today. But before we get into today's video, if you aren't already subscribed, then please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. That way you will become part of the Lady M fam. And while you're there, make sure that you hit that notification bell as well. That way you don't miss out on all these awesome uploads, okay? All right, guys, I have my bag with all my bronzers. So let's get into the bronzer roundup. All right. All right, let us start out by talking about some cream bronzers. All right, first of all, here's my stash, and we're gonna go through these bronzers. We're gonna start out with cream, then we're gonna work up from affordable all the way up to more high-end bronzers. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. And so yeah, let me start out with my cream bronzer. And the first cream bronzer that I have is this one from ColourPop, and this is the what is it? The Soul Face and Body Bronzing Balm. So I would say that this bronzer is like a dupe for the Chanel bronzing cream. You know, that one that was like viral back in the days. This one will be similar, definitely not the same price. That Chanel is about $50. And this retails for, I want to say like $16 is what this retails for. And this is what it looks like. This is what I use today on my face. I use this, and then I went in with the powder bronzer on top. Oh my God, you guys, it smells amazing. Smells like coconut, like it smells divine. So that is what it is. Let me see how many product is in here. This is 31 grams, 1.1 ounce of product. I'm gonna show you. I can't really get my hands in here because of my nails to show you. It doesn't really show up on my skin as being like, it's like barely there. So that's what it swatches like. Y'all, when I tell you this thing is so creamy, it is very creamy. And what I like about this is when you put the bronzers on top, sometimes the cream products end up like moving, or it will look muddy. And I can say that this is not looking muddy at all. It didn't even move as I was buffing it in with, you know, after I went in with my foundation. So yeah, so this is one of the cream bronzers that I have that I absolutely love and I do use. And I have been starting to kind of like cream bronzing lately. I feel like it's just really looks good on the skin. The next one that I have is the Danessa Myrick's cream bronzer. There's like a name for it, but I don't really have the box. Oh, so it is the Power Bronzer, and it's matte, and it's also matte bronzing and shaping. So you could totally get a little bit of contour to this. And this is hella pigmented. The first time I used this, I felt like I used a little bit too much, and it like, I looked crazy. So that's the swatch, just to show you guys how pigmented this thing is. And if you've used anything from Danessa Myrick's, you know she does, like, girlfriend got pigment. Again, so this one is one that I love, and I got this during my Sephora haul, and I used it a couple times. I don't think I have filmed with it before, but I have used it off camera and I love it. So when I tell you it's pigmented, you need to go in with a light hand. You definitely need to. Blendable, it doesn't move the products, doesn't look muddy when you blend stuff on top. So that is definitely one of my faves. The next bronzer I have in the cream family is this Kaja Bento box. And this is super cool because it has 3 products. It has a cream bronzer, a highlighter, and a blush. And this blush is like one of my favorite blushes to use. I have swatches in the video when I used it, and like I've used it a couple times, and in the unboxing video from my Sephora haul, I swatched. So that's the bronzer. Then you flip that up, you get the highlighter, and then you go in, and the last flip is the bronzer, and that's the bronzer. Again, another amazing product. It's hella pigmented. Doesn't really have a smell to it. It blends beautifully. It looks so good. That is the swatch of the bronzer, and it's beautiful. So if you're into cream bronzers, then those are 3 choices of cream bronzers that are absolutely beautiful, and they look amazing on the skin. So yeah, so we started out with creams. Now let's get into, I'm gonna start out with like the least affordable to like the most expensive. And oh, I do have another cream bronzer I completely forgot about. And this is the Patrick Ta Major Sculpt Compact. And his bronzer is a cream and powder in one. So what makes this super neat is you have the cream product under the screen, and then you have the powder. I have not used this yet, so I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say like how it works on the skin, but I'm swatching, and I think when I saw this, I didn't think that it was gonna work. Like, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So those the swatches, the top swatch is the cream, and then that's the bronzer on top. And another thing I will mention about the products I've shown you before, they're super, super neutral. They're not red, because a lot of times when companies make bronzers for darker skin tone, they end up being super, super red. And it's like, we're dark skin, but we don't need red. Like, we just need, you know, a nice neutral bronzers. So the ones that I'm sharing with you aren't red at all. They're gonna be more on the neutral side, or even to where they have that nice gray, not like gray, but they have like that nice contoured shade. So you can use them to give a little bit more sculpted, or you can use them to add that warmth to the skin. Because listen, if you don't use bronzers, even though you're dark skin, when we put on our foundation, you know, we end up being like one straight flat. We have like a flat look. And so you want to use the bronzers to be able to add a little bit of color, add warmth back to the skin, and give you some dimension so you're not just looking flat. So even though we're dark skin, we need bronzers, all right? And especially it's summertime, like we want to have that nice bronze skin. So hello. So I'm just wanted to be able to share with you what's in my stash and what are my go-tos for bronzer. So those are the cream bronzers that I have to share with you guys. Definitely all pretty good. All right, so now I'm gonna go up with the more affordable bronzers, and we're gonna work our way up to like more luxury bronzers. I'm just taking them out of my bag. All right, so starting out with probably the least expensive, and this is the Sephora bronzer, and this is in the shade Ibiza. This is a matte bronzer. Unfortunately, there isn't a darker shade than this. So if you're like more like a NC55 or darker, then this may not work for you. But it is pretty good. And I like it because it's not one of those, you know, remember we mentioned like super, super red. It is very pigmented, as you can see. That is the shade of the bronzer. And what I like about it is it's super buildable. So you can totally get this product built up. So that's why I said like NC50, NC55, this will work for you, but they don't have any darker shades. And this bronzer, I think is about $16 or $18. I'll definitely have all the prices in the screen, either in the corner or it's gonna be coming up on the screen down below. So That is one of my favorites. I used this a couple of times, but yeah, this is definitely one of my go-to bronzers that I use. All right, from the Sephora bronzer, another fave of mine is this Mented Cosmetics, and this is their bronzer. This is in the shade Yacht Life. Y'all, this bronzer has given me life, okay? This had been sold out for a while. It was all over social media and I could not wait to get my hands on it. So when it finally came back in stock, I was ecstatic because I finally was able to get it. When I tell you this baby blends beautifully, so up top is the Mented bronzer right above. This is the Sephora and that one is the Mented bronzer. They do have a shade that's darker than this, and this is a black owned brand. So you know they came through for us with a darker skin, all right? So yeah, I love this bronzer. I have used this so many times. It was like I was reaching for it when I first got it. But as you can see, I have a stash here, so you know I have to spread the wealth a little bit. But this definitely is a go-to of mine. Depending on, you know, what kind of look I'm going for, it kind of determines what bronzer I use. This is definitely more natural. So like if I'm using, you know, more natural everyday look, then this definitely is what I reached for. After that, I'm gonna go to another bronzer. This is the Kosas bronzer, and this is their moisturizing baked bronzer. I used this in another video recently, and the only thing I didn't like was the smell. Ugh. But this is what the bronzer looks like. I'm gonna give you guys swatches. And I think this is the darkest color from the Kosas one. It does have a little bit of redness to it. You can kind of see this is one of the bronzers that are more on the red side. And when I use this, I think I paired it with the Kaja cream bronzer, and it gave me like a nice, you know, bronze glow. Look how beautiful that is. But this is in the shade Deep. And so unfortunately, they don't really have anything darker, but this is beautiful when you're layering it on top of something cream. If you don't already have, if that cream product doesn't come with a powder product. So this is one that is perfect for layering. So that's that. Then we also have the Anastasia bronzer. This is the powder bronzer, and Mahogany is the shade. And this had been like a favorite of mine for a while. I was using this before Fenty came through and like took over the bronzer game back in the day. So this is what Mahogany looks like. It doesn't look very dark in the palette, but when you swatch her, which I'm about to do for you guys, you'll see that you get a nice wash of color, and it is very buildable. Almost gives you more of that contoured kind of look because of the undertone. So that's the Mahogany from Anastasia, and that's the Kosas. So you can kind of see here, this is more bronzy, and this is definitely going to be more contoured. But the thing is, you can build it up. So to get that contoured look, you totally can use that product, you know, and build it up in the outer cheek area to get more of that contoured effect. The Anastasia bronzer retails for probably $24 or $30, and you're getting a pretty decent amount of product in this bronzer. Then we have another, this one is probably more drugstore. I have two drugstores, but everybody knows back in the days, everybody was on the Ebony CoverGirl bronzer, right? I have it, I don't know where it is, but I also was on that Ebony bronzer train when, you know, bronzers was like taking over the scene, and you know, we were just trying to find, you know, where you fit in. So I have the Nabla Cosmetics, or Nabla is the name. This is their skin bronzing Sunkissed effect bronzing powder, and this is in the shade Profile. This is what the package looks like, and you can find this brand at Ulta, and this is the color, and I'm gonna swatch this for you. I still haven't used this yet, so I can't really say as far as like, you know, blendability or anything like that, but that one is very natural. So that's the Nabla one right there. And then that one is the Anastasia, and that one is Kosas. So that shows you right there that you can get a little bit of color. I'm not sure if there's any more darker shades than this. If there is, I'll be sure to link it down below, you know, what the shade is. But yeah, I picked this up at Ulta. So this is a nice drugstore option if you're looking for something drugstore and a nice bronzer to use. And then the other one that came from Ulta that I have is from Makeup Revolution. It's called Revolution Glow Ultra Matte Bronzer. And this, listen, y'all get a lot of product for this. This is a UK owned brand, so you can shop them online, and they do ship to the US, or you can shop them at Ulta. I don't think it's in stores in Ulta because I bought mine online from Ulta Beauty, and they do have darker shades than this. So if you are pretty deeper skin tone, then you'll be able to find a color in this particular brand. And then I'm just swatching and going in with the color on top. So there it is. See how like pigmented that is? So definitely gonna give you that bronze look, or if you're looking for more of that contoured look, then you can also get that from this particular bronzer. So those are some of my drugstore kind of options for you to have. Getting into more, I say, high-end kind of products. This wouldn't be a good bronzer video if I did not share the Fenty bronzers with you guys. I have all 3 shades of the Fenty bronzers. I have Mocha Mami, I have Cocoa Naughty, and I have, what is this one called? Thick Mint, which is the latest addition to the Fenty bronzer family. And Cocoa Naughty was like my ride or die. Like I told you, like I mentioned, I stopped using the Anastasia and I have been ride or die for Cocoa Naughty. So this is Cocoa Naughty. This one is very neutral. Like people will look at the color and don't think that it will work for them because of the color. But these bronzers are very, very buildable. So where am I gonna put this on? Let me scooch my watch up a little bit. And I'm going in with Cocoa Naughty. So I'm putting it down. So you see how deep that gets? And it doesn't even look like that in the pan. But I love Cocoa Naughty. That was my ride or die. Y'all see, I hit pan. Mocha Mami, on the other hand, was just a little bit too red for me. And this is the perfect example to show you how some brands think that to go deep, you have to go red. And that is Mocha Mami, very red. So I use this sometimes as a blush topper. So like I'll put Cocoa Naughty down, and then I would sometimes just use this as like a blusher just to kind of add a little bit of color to my skin. So that's Mocha Mami, totally more on the red side. And then we have Thick Mint, which is the latest edition where Rihanna took us even deeper into the bronzer color. So I'm gonna show you Thick Mint. That's Thick Mint, so she's dark. And even though she's dark, you may feel like, why you need that? It's like really dark for you, but you just gotta have options. So you can see how dark Thick Mint is without being red. So on me, Thick Mint ends up being more like a contour kind of color. And I just kind of love that when I'm looking to just get really, really snatched. Okay. So that's Thick Mint, and the Fenty bronzers retail for about $34 or $36 or something like that. So that's one of my faves. Another fave of mine is this Nars bronzer, and this is in the shade Karimba. Y'all, this is the perfect summertime bronzer, which is what I am wearing today with the Soul Cream bronzer. And I'm gonna swatch it so you guys will absolutely see why this is like the perfect summertime bronzer. There is Karimba on top right there. Look at that. That just gives me the right amount of glow. This is what the packaging looks like. You get a lot of product, but I usually mainly use this in the summertime. So that is my summertime bronzer. And that's about $40. A new fave of mine that I have been loving is this Dior bronzer. It's the Dior Forever Natural Bronze. This is what the packaging looks like. These are $48, pretty small. And from what I have seen online, I'm hearing that this is a dupe for the Guerlain bronzer is a dupe for this Dior bronzer. I don't own the Guerlain bronzer, but that is on my list. On my list is the Guerlain bronzer and the LYS bronzer. So those are the two bronzers that I really, really want to get my hands on. Two black owned brands that I want to like, give some love to. So let me swatch this. This is, you know, what the packaging looks like. And again, it's $48 and I'm putting that right above the Nars. And this one is another natural color. This is in the shade 08 Deep Bronze, and this is the darkest shade in the Dior bronzer. So if you're a little bit dark, too, you know, rich, deeper skin tone, then that might not work for you. So that is my Dior bronzer. I only have two more bronzers, y'all. And this one is $54. This was where my love for bronzer first started. This is the Guerlain Terracotta bronzer. This was the first bronzer that I ever purchased, and she has been with me all this time. I don't really reach for it that much anymore, but you guys can already see that I hit pan. And unfortunately, they discontinued these colors. This was 7, and I think they have like an 8 or a 9. And then they discontinued those, and now they only have up to a 5. Supposedly the 5 can work, is similar to the 7. So if you use the 7, they say that you can use the 5. I personally haven't tried it, and this bronzer was like my ride or die. This bronzer did me good. And then we had options, okay? So I just swatched it, and you can see it is very natural, like barely anything. So this really gave you that nice, like bronze effect to the skin because it wasn't like very neutral. So that's my Guerlain. And then last but not least is my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. This is $50-something. You get a lot of product and it's refillable. And this is how big the pan is, like, for real. Like, when are you gonna finish this? But anyway, the refills are like $34. And this is another bronzer that is just bomb. Like, even though, look how dark that is. Look how dark that is. This is super pigmented. And when I say a little goes a long way and it's totally buildable, you can get it built up. Look at that. That is a contour shade. So you can get that nice bronze shade and you can get that nice snatched contoured look. Oh my God. That has been like one of my faves. So that is all my bronzers, you guys. Like, there's the swatches of all of the bronzers. And like I said, it just depends on what kind of look it is that I'm going for and really what is right here that I'm gonna reach for. But it's always good to have a nice array of bronzers that do something different. If you only do cream, you gotta have your cream stash. If you only do powders, you gotta have a powder stash that's gonna give you the perfect bronze without looking red or looking muddy and gray. Like, we don't want that. So hopefully within all of these that I was able to share with you, you can go ahead and try something. You get an idea of what will work. And I hope that this information was very informative and useful. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And please, if you aren't already subscribed, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. And that way you will be part of the Lady M fam. And while you're there, hit that notification bell to be notified whenever new videos go up. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.